Chapter 29. Overcome doubts. When you doubt your power, you give power to your doubt. Honor de Balzac. I know I just slaughtered his name. Sorry, Honor. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today. Let us move forward with strong and active faith. Franklin D. Roosevelt. Our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt. William Shakespeare. When you are 100% certain that something is right, you speak with confidence and authority. When you are 100% certain that something is possible, you focus on it and move forward with determination. When you are 100% certain that a particular technique will work, you practice it wholeheartedly until you achieve your goals. Certainty brings power and focus. It helps you persevere. It energizes you to keep taking action regardless of failures and setbacks. It magnetizes you and makes you charismatic. Doubt does the opposite. Doubt is uncertainty. It pulls you back, slows you down, dissipates your energy, and makes you quit prematurely. You hesitate to move forward, and if you do, you are half-hearted. No meaningful goal can be achieved when you are half-hearted. We need the whole of you to step forward. Please. Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive and go do that, because what the world needs is people who have come alive. Howard Thurman. According to willpower researcher Roy Baumeister, PhD, the state of uncertainty is the state of willpower depletion. When you are overwhelmed with doubts, you have less energy to move forward. Overcoming doubts, then, boosts your willpower by giving you certainty, even if that certainty is later replaced by another one. To doubt or not to doubt. Doubt is a greater enemy nowadays than it was a few centuries ago, courtesy of the scientific revolution. In our modern life, we overemphasize reason, linear thinking, and the analytical mind. Doubt and skepticism are considered badges of honor and signs of intelligence. In a way they are, but there are different types of intelligence. The ability to doubt and question is the cornerstone of critical thinking. Without it, scientific inquiry is impossible. Putting assumptions to the test is what allows us to let go of biases and find truth about things. The problem is that every virtue casts a shadow, see chapter 38. And if analysis, questioning, and skepticism are the only tools you have, and you use them for everything and in all areas of your life, then you are limiting yourself. To constantly doubt your conclusions about the nature of things will push you forward. To constantly doubt your conclusions about your capacity won't. For the purpose of self-discipline, there are 3 types of doubt that hold us back. Doubts about ourselves, about the path, and about the goal. Professor Scott Geller, in his TED text talk, The Psychology of Self-Motivation, talks about the need for getting the 3 yeses. Yes, I can do this. Yes, it will work. And yes, it is worth it. The 3 doubts of what prevent us from getting these 3 doubts. The 3 doubts are what prevent us from getting these 3 yeses. Doubting yourself, doubting your path, and doubting your goal leads to lack of motivation, lack of confidence, hesitation and uncertainty, and half-heartedness. The first is doubting yourself, your capacity. This is questioning your abilities, assuming that you're not good enough and that you can't reach your goals. This type of thinking is like a virus in the mind. It is your mind defeating itself. You need to overcome it at whatever cost. More about this in a moment. The second is doubting your path, your strategy. You may be certain about your capacity, but if you constantly keep doubting your methods and changing your strategy every week, you won't get anywhere. So spend time researching and figuring out the best way forward for you to get the best mentors, advice, and systems that you can find. But once you do, have faith that it will work and patience with the time it takes. Stay with it long enough before questioning its efficiency. The third is doubting your goal, your purpose. When times move slower than you expected and when challenges build up, you may have the feeling that you will never achieve your goal. You may feel that it's just too difficult for you. In order to protect yourself from such pain, you then lose interest in your goal. Maybe this is not for me. And go after another shiny object. You can overcome this with a strong aspiration, perseverance, and self-belief. See chapters 7 through 9, 13, and 21. Doubt is great for understanding things, but bad for manifesting things. Doubt is a friend of knowledge, but an enemy of focus and creativity. It sharpens your analysis, but weakens your resolve and dissipates your energy. The ability to doubt, thus, has a place in your life, but it's not something you should use every time in relation to everything. In keeping you disciplined, it's not helpful. Exercise. Audit your doubts. Pause now for a moment, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, how am I doubting my capacity? How am I doubting my chosen strategy? How am I doubting my purpose? These questions assume that you are doubting, which is quite likely. Most of us have some degree of doubt, at least regarding one of these three. Spend 10 minutes going through this doubt audit exercise. Scan your brain for all feelings of doubt in relation to yourself, your chosen path, and your goal. Write them down, one per line. Why we doubt. One of the reasons we doubt, as explained above, is because we are over-relying on our analytical mind. We are overplaying this virtue and thus falling into its shadow side by trying to apply it to everything in our life. We have a great hammer and treat everything as a nail. The problem is that not everything is a nail. Another cause for the virus of self-doubt is our childhood conditioning. Many of us have grown up with an overcritical parent, a domineering sibling, or a bully at school. This results in us being indoctrinated into believing that we are not good enough. Doubting ourselves then becomes second nature. The third possible cause is a big experience of failure. Perhaps you had good self-confidence and high self-esteem. You did well in life, and then you fell and hit the ground hard. That can be a traumatizing experience, after which it becomes hard for you to bet on yourself again. You internalize not only the lesson from that failure, but a more defeatist self-image. There may now be a new voice inside you, always asking you to play it safe. It is trying to protect you by keeping you away from perceived danger. The fourth cause of doubting is bad company. The people we spend our time with influence us deeply. The people whose words we read, authors, bloggers, social media accounts, and listen to, family, friends, colleagues, and podcasts also influence us deeply. They impact the thoughts we have, the way we feel, and the decisions we make. If you surround yourself with the wrong type of people, it becomes easier for you to doubt yourself, get distracted from your goals, and feel unmotivated. When you start something new in your life, some people will envy you and try to covertly hinder you. Others might be supposedly more well-intentioned and want to help you keep it real so that you don't experience disappointment. Finally, the three doubts may also be due to a lack of perception. We compare ourselves and the results we are getting with other people who look more capable or who got results more quickly. We compare our process with somebody else's end result and feel discouraged. Or we think that the difficulties we are facing right now will be there forever, that they are permanent, and that we won't ever be able to overcome them. These are different ways of how we sometimes lose our perspective. Why do we doubt? Over-analytical, childhood conditioning, big failure, bad company, and lack of perspective. What are the causes behind your habit of self-doubt? Take a moment to reflect on that. If the cause is bad company, the best way to overcome it is to find better company. Life is too short to be wasted with toxic people around you. Phase those people out of your life who only bring you down, and seek company with those who uplift you. Doing this is a service to yourself, to others, and to all the people who are waiting for you to step forward and bring to life whatever you are creating. See chapter 35. Should a teacher not find a companion who is better or equal, let him resolutely pursue a solitary course. In the path, there is no fellowship with the fool. Buddha. Let's now discuss how you overcome the other 4 causes of doubt. Method number 1, the not now technique. It's extremely difficult to win over doubt just by attempting to talk your way out of it. If self-doubt is a person, he is that stubborn skeptic who always has a yes, but objective to whatever you say. He can never be convinced. You need to take a break from it sometimes so you can focus on moving forward. There is a place for doubt, but it is not every time and everywhere. Healthy doubt is constructive and helps you see things from a new perspective. Unhealthy doubt makes you uncertain and it paralyzes you. This is the shadow side of doubt, and it's a big obstacle to self-discipline. A great way to overcome this shadow is to create a doubt-free experiment. You commit to a period of time during which no doubts are allowed. Every doubt is met with a simple response, not now. In this matter, fears, doubts, and anxieties are temporarily suspended. Without needing to figure out how to permanently overcome them, you already get the space you need to move forward. Only after that time ends are you allowed to question your skills and reevaluate your methods, and only if that is really needed. This shift in mindset is extremely simple yet effective. Keeping doubts at bay become easier since it's just an experiment. With a clear beginning and end, doubts then don't need to fight their way into your mind, for they know that their time will come. It's just not now. During the doubt-free experiment, you focus wholeheartedly on the task at hand with full conviction and enthusiasm. No doubts are allowed. Gravitate the feeling that you know for sure that you are on the right path and that achieving your goal is just a matter of time. Trust that you are getting closer to your purpose with every step you take, even when it doesn't feel like it. If needed, be delusionally optimistic and fanatically dedicated for that limited time. Then at the end, you pause to reflect, learn, and start again with greater insight. Go on practicing like this for as long as you need. Eventually, your doubts may give up and stop knocking at your door, knowing that nobody will open, just as it happened for me. Doubt your doubts before you doubt yourself. Louis Pugh. Once you have started your doubt-free experiment, you snooze whatever doubt or fears come up to bother you. The not now technique is the snooze button in your brain. It is your capacity to use a skill that you are really good at, procrastination, on things that are actually worth procrastinating, doubts. When doubts come, say, not now. Procrastinate on doubt. Procrastinate on fears, worries, and anxiety. Procrastinate on emotional dramas and distractions. For the chosen time period, focus all your energies on the task at hand and press the snooze button on everything else. Act first, doubt later. As for the length of the doubt-free experiment, it depends on your needs. It could be an hour every morning where you set aside your insecurity about writing skills and just write. It could be a 30-day time frame where you follow a certain diet and don't constantly step on the scale to see if the diet is working or not. It could be a year that you will dedicate to pursuing a new business idea without getting distracted with other opportunities. Design your own doubt-free experience and then follow through wholeheartedly, snoozing all doubts and fears with the help of the not now technique. What if the doubt comes again? Repeat not now with a firm but calm inner voice. Do that as many times as needed, and eventually the mind will learn. You need to be in control, not your thoughts. Set boundaries for your thoughts. Claim back your power. This is the core message of meditation. Not now is an analyst-free zone. It's a much-needed vacation from your self-defeating mind. You'll be surprised at with how much you get done. You will tap into resources you didn't even know you had. This is a tremendous power in this. There is a tremendous power in this. The not now technique is similar to the procrastinate distractions method in chapter 22. As a matter of fact, you can also use the not now technique to overcome many of the enemies of self-discipline, such as distractions, excuses, fears, or any other limiting beliefs or emotional states. Look at this little diagram. This technique will not resolve any past emotional pains that might be behind it all, but it will prevent doubts and fears from spoiling your journey. Once you create this doubt-free space in your life, you are able to move forward with less friction, get the taste of small wins along the way, and prevent the overly analytical mind from holding you back in the analysis paralysis. With this, even if fears and doubts still exist within you, they cease to define you. They can't stop you anymore. Method number 2, remove your options. In the ancient military manual, The Art of War, the Chinese strategist Sun Tzu advises, when you surround an army, leave an outlet free. Do not press a desperate foe too hard. The idea behind this is that when people believe that there is no way out, they fight with all their might, tapping into a wealth of strength, hitherto unknown. We can apply the same strategy to our daily lives. Thank you, Khalifa. When we have no option but to make a change, then we will work for that change wholeheartedly. When we have to succeed, we will. There is no room for doubts, so no doubts come. If you have to earn extra $1,000 in the next 2 weeks to pay for the meditation of your terminally ill child, you will find a way to do it. You won't procrastinate, get distracted, or doubt yourself. You will focus and move forward with all your might. In Buddhism, there is a saying, meditate as if your head is on fire. When your head is on fire, you are not distracted. You won't have competing priorities, and you are most definitely not thinking about lunch. On the other hand, when we have other options, a plan B, C, and D, it's harder to generate that intense type of energy. Since the consequences of failure are not as dreadful, it is easier to get distracted from the goal, make excuses, or not take action. When you know that you will fail, that you will fall on a comfortable cushion, you're not so focused on walking on the walking well. Part of you is indifferent. Needless to say, this particular method is more extreme. It won't suit every type of person, nor every type of goal. Yet the core lesson applies to everyone. The more committed you are, the less you will doubt. So if everything else fails, remove all your options. This method will not fail for you. A determined person advances toward his goal like an arrow toward its target. Is that you? If no, why not? Method number 3, get perspective. Removing doubt is like removing a blindfold. Tim Fargo. Self-doubt is just one out of the many possible ways to look at things. It is a narrative and a limiting one. The third method to overcome the 3 types of doubts is to zoom out and get some perspective. One way to do this is to get temporal perspective by remembering that this too shall pass. Whatever challenges you are going through will not last forever. 3 months from now, you are unlikely to be dealing with the same obstacles. If not, 3 years from now, you will definitely be in a different place, provided that you continue on the path and take action. Always remember that this too shall pass. Write this down somewhere you can see it often. Tattoo it on your brain. Contemplate it in times of need. A second way is to have a perspective shift, is to adjust your expectations regarding the length of the journey and the challenges that you'll encounter. We talked about this in chapter 21 when covering the virtue of perseverance and one of its enemies, the false hope syndrome. Let's imagine that your goal is to become a great at singing or any other skill for that matter. You get the best teacher you can find and go to classes with great enthusiasm. Then, after only 2 weeks of lessons, you feel disappointed that you're not progressing as quickly as expected. That is actually a normal experience and not a reason to doubt. But if you start thinking that you don't have the voice for it, doubting yourself, or that this method of learning won't work, doubting the path, or that perhaps singing is not really for you and is not worth it, doubting your goal, you are likely to give up too soon. Instead, readjust your expectations regarding the process. A third way to gain perspective is to let go of unfair comparisons. Comparison can bring doubts in your ability and in your path. The most common of these is comparing your process with someone else's results. Imagine you're a beginner artist looking at someone's masterpiece and thinking, I'll never be able to paint like that. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Or you're a tennis player and think, I'm not progressing quickly enough. I'll never play like Sampras. Is this a fair comparison? Never compare your process with somebody else's results. You don't need to be better than they are. You just need to be the best version of yourself. Comparison is a hardwired tendency of our brains. We may not be able to stop comparing, but we can learn to compare more wisely. If you need inspiration, compare yourself to those ahead of you and things that are meaningful to you without losing perspective of the path it takes to get there. If you need self-compassion and encouragement, compare yourself to the previous version of yourself or of those behind and feel how far you have come. But don't compare the beginning of your process with the end of someone else's. Are you holding on to disempowering comparisons? If so, it's time to replace them with more empowering ones. For that purpose, you can also use the method of shifting your self-talk, chapter 12, and the method of poking holes in your negative thinking, chapter 22. In the beginning of this chapter, you went through the doubts audit exercise where you made a list of all the ways you are doubting yourself, your path, and your goal. Now spend a minute reviewing that list and decide which technique you will use to overcome each doubt. Key points. Certainty brings power and focus. It helps you persevere. It energizes you to keep taking action, regardless of failures and setbacks. Doubt pulls you back, slows you down, and dissipates your energy. You hesitate to move forward. Girl, what is you doing? I'm sorry, these cats. You hesitate to move forward, and if you do, you are half-hearted. Doubt is sometimes a virtue, but it has its shadow side. If you try to apply it to every area of your life, you will struggle. The 3 types of doubts that you need to overcome in self-discipline are doubting yourself, you question your capacity or worth; doubting your path, you're skeptical about your strategy and keep changing it; doubting your goal, you lose interest as a result of not making progress. The reason why we doubt could be over-reliance or the analytical mind, childhood conditioning, a big experience of failure, bad company, or lack of perspective. Method number 1, the not now technique. Commit to a period of time during which no doubts are allowed. Just focus on the task at hand with full conviction and trust. Snooze all doubts, fears, and distractions by saying, "Not now," in your mind, as many times as needed, calmly and confidently. Method number 2, remove your options. When you have no option but to make a change, you will work for that change wholeheartedly. When you have other options or the consequences of failure are not so dreadful, it will be harder to generate that intense type of energy. Remove your options so you become fully focused and committed. This method is extreme. Method number 3, get perspective. Zoom out to see things more clearly. Get temporal perspective by remembering that whatever challenges you are facing are temporarily. This too shall pass. Adjust your expectations regarding the length of the journey and the difficulties you'll encounter. Let go of unfair comparisons, such as comparing your process with someone else's result. Chapter 30.